brain injury cases. And, I have 3 different people coming in to talk about not only how to get brain injury cases, but what to do once you get one. How do you get experts? Where do you send the people? How do you get them treated? If you have a big case, his whole job is he goes and finds a witness for you, somebody who worked for the company that's the defendant in your case, that got fired, that was disgruntled, that knows everything about the company.
Welcome, lawyers. Today, I'm doing a long-form interview with trial lawyer Chris Munley from Munley Law, a nationally recognized personal injury law firm. Today, we're talking about Chris's Atlas Lawyers Conference 2022, practice management and legal marketing seminar being held at the Flamingo Hotel, Las Vegas, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. The website is atlas-lawyers.com, but look around the email or the YouTube video or my webpage for a discount code that Chris is going to send me shortly. And you'll get, it seems like he's giving you nearly 50% off on the Atlas seminar, should you want to go. Chris shares highlights in this video from years gone by and at the conferences about the speakers and why he feels this conference will really enrich your experience as a lawyer and increase your bottom line. Atlas has gained a national reputation for bringing in some of the most innovative legal professionals sharing views on latest trends, technology, marketing, and practice management. And I've been out to film Chris Munley and Munley Law in Pennsylvania on many occasions. We've done lots of really cool marketing, creative marketing projects together. And I'm always moved by how willing Chris is to openly share authentically, not only his experiences as a lawyer, but as a human and an entrepreneur. I wanted to share Chris with you, my email list of over 11,000 attorneys, because Chris is just one of the most genuine people, and Atlas is just a little bit under the wire. So remember, you found it here, and there is a discount that goes with it. I know you're going to enjoy this long-form interview, so without further ado, my friend and lawyer, Chris Munley.
What's going on?
Oh, it's so nice to have you. I did a nice like a opener already to just introduce the conference and who you are, so we wouldn't have to start from total scratch. Why should we meet in person?
Because it's time.
Yeah,
we need to see people. We need to have some laughs. We need to have some fun. I think. Plus, I in the beginning, what we're doing here was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yes.
But now it is such a normal part of life that if I were sitting here on a Zoom conference, honestly, I would start looking, doing work, and you know what I mean. I would be distracted.
Yeah, it's not the same.
How will I get to know anybody? Mary, I met you at Vista. The very first Vista.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We were down in Atlanta, and I was there with my sister Caroline, and you were across the room with your, bold and bright pink hair. And I saw you, and you started making a beeline for us, and I thought, oh my God,
oh, here she comes.
Right? And it was one of the nicest experiences I can remember, because you were friendly, you were affable, you were charming, you were you. And how would I know you if I hadn't met you personally? I can't say that I've ever met anybody on Zoom that I walked away and had some type of a friendship with.
You know why I have pink hair? Partly is because I don't have any tattoos or anything. And on the weekends, I play in a Motley Crue, all-female Motley Crue tribute band. I can just put a little pink in when I have a gig now and then. And I had a gig last weekend, so somebody asked me about the pink, and I said, it's because I look so normal. All right, let's get started with your Atlas conference. What do you think that people will walk away with if they join the Atlas conference?
Well, coming to Atlas, the nicest part I think about it is, I set this up so that it's relaxed. Everyone has a good time. everybody has an opportunity to get to know not only all of the other attendees who are from all over the country, but all of the people who come there as vendors and speakers. I intentionally make it smaller. I'm sure we all have the experience of going to these huge ballrooms that are full of people. Some people sitting there reading newspapers or playing on their computer. But I try to make it smaller so that the learning is more intimate, and also you can really make a more personal connection with the people who come. And as you know, Mary, one of the highlights of my conference is we feed you like a Viking. Every break there's food, there's a luncheon, there's an opening night, a party with food, and everything really goes around food at my conference, because I just can't stand going to a conference and all I get is crappy coffee. It's the worst thing in the world, because we're all always rushed. We're always running late. We always get up too, especially you go to a conference, you might stay out too late the night before and you're running late. You don't have time to go to breakfast. I like to make it so that there's food, so that, you're not running halfway through this morning and like thinking to yourself, oh my God, I got to get out of here. It's going to be a break. It's going to have a big, a big buffet with it. So,
what's nice about that too, is that, having a meal together means that people actually get to know each other.
Absolutely. My Uncle Pat, I actually formulated this after a theory my Uncle Pat always handed out, which was, before you do work with someone, you should break bread with them. And, in this conference, there's a lot of really interesting things. I kind of married, marketing with also practice management more, and a little more practice management actually in this one.
Yeah.
And so you're going to learn a lot of different things, but meet a lot of different people, and people who have information to give you, who have different systems that they have that they can, you can hire them for. But before you get to know them, or before you get to work with them, sit down and, have something to eat, have something where you could sit down and really speak, instead of being in a position where you're constantly like with your guard up and thinking, oh God, I don't want somebody reaching into my pocket.
Yeah.
Know them, and then you get to decide whether you want to work with them. But you're not going into it cold. You have a little more, familiarity with the people that you're going to be working with, and what kind of systems they have to offer.
I love that, because as a vendor, I didn't realize I was a vendor until later in life. But as a vendor, I also just don't work with everybody. I'm kind of a boutique situation. And for me, when I come to your conferences, I actually get to just hang out with the lawyers and feel out what people are really like, hear what their real concerns are. And over all the years that I've had GoMedia Marketing, I realize that none of you guys are cookie cutter. There really should never be a cookie cutter situation for law firms. Everybody wants a different kind of client. They have different parameters for how much they want to work, or, so coming to your conference, it's like that. It's not cookie cutter. You don't have a bunch of stiffs up in the front trying to sell you, the latest search engine optimization or whatever,
I also work, one of the longstanding rules I have, and I've been doing this for 14 years now, Mary.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. 14 years. Oh my God.
Yeah. One of the longstanding rules I have is, the people that come to talk about what they can do to help you aren't allowed to sell when they're up in front of you.
Yeah.
Go into a conference and somebody says, hey, the conference price today, just because you're here today, there's a special conference price. And, I always sit there and think to myself, so because I didn't hear of you in a conference, I just Googled you and picked you up online, you're going to screw me and charge me more than if I'm sitting here. And I know there's no way in the world that's the case. So, you're already starting by treating me like I'm a halfwit. And I do not
I hate that.
I don't like that. Mary, I don't do this to make any money. I do not make money at it. All of the money that we get, whether from the vendors or for the attendees or whatever, that all gets thrown into the food the cost. So the money that I get just goes into, it goes into the conference. And this time I, as I said before, I angled it a little differently. I started on the first day talking about brain injury cases, and I have 3 different people coming in to talk about, how to not only how to get brain injury cases, but what to do once you get one. How do you get experts? Where do you send the people? How do you get them treated? Who's the right person to do a type of scan that'll be able to show the brain injury?
Oh, that's going to be so good, Chris. Brain injury cases are really interesting because the doctor themselves can not always tell how much the person has changed. So they're very interesting cases.
It's a hard thing when you look at somebody with the brain injury. You can't always tell. I mean, they might be sitting there with a big smile on their face. You think, oh, this is the happiest person in the world. But the reality is behind the eyes, there's absolutely nothing. And you have to have, and it's hard. We're busy. We practice. I put the phone on mute for right now, but
thank you.
Clients are calling, adjusters are calling. You have responsibilities. The employees are coming in. So, it's not like you really have a lot of time to sit down and think, okay, how do I get a better person that's going to be able to show a brain injury when it really doesn't show up on a CAT scan? Like, it doesn't glow in there. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to get somebody to come in and show all the parts and explain it, and they're still not going to get it. So
it is a fascinating area of the law. Absolutely. I've done some interviews of lawyers, and I am so blown away by how you prove such a case. And it's a very special, and I know we can't use the word specialized, but it's a very special area of the law.
It is. And, and there are a lot of people out there that you can find that can help you get to the right sources and that can actually increase the value of your case. So that's why I decided to go and have some of those people come in. And I have a guy coming in who his whole job is to find, if you have a big case, his whole job is he goes and finds a witness for you, somebody who worked for the company that's the defendant in your case, that got fired, that was disgruntled, that knows everything about the company, so that they can come and sit with you and you can hire them as a consultant, and they can instruct you on where you're going to find the documentation you're looking for in the company.
Oh my God, that's so valuable.
And I've never encountered somebody that does this before. So I was really fascinated when I met him, and I thought, well, I've got to have him come. He's got something that if it really is what he says, it's a game changer, especially, if you have a products liability case or, a major case against, some company that, that has put something onto the market that has caused injuries, and somebody from the inside can say, oh yeah, they knew this was a problem at this point in time, and this is who brought it up, and this is who you have to look for information from.
That's going to be so interesting to hear this guy.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to have him come in.
I can't wait to hear him.
Marion and Danny are going to come and they're going to talk about trucking, and that's always, very interesting. They know what to do in trucking cases, and they've really done a great job. They speak all over the country, both Marion and Dan. Yes. So they're very good at that. There's a guy who's going to come and talk about about doing demands for your office. Like, I have on my part of the practice over here, Mary, I do all of the new pre-lit files. So I have to get all the records together and then do a demand and try to negotiate it. Well, when you have a volume practice and you're trying to do that, sitting down and doing demand, takes time, and you can't do anything else when you're writing the demand.
Yeah, your head's got to be in exactly how to write that. Yeah.
So there's a company out there that you can send all the information to, and they send you back. They do the demands for you, and they're phenomenal. I hired them.
Oh my God, that's so valuable.
And I thought, I'm going to have them come and speak, because if nobody walks away with anything else, if they meet these people and they employ them, I've estimated that I have one paralegal who loves to write, and it would take him 40 hours. It would take 40 hours every month for him to do all his demands. So that's a full week of work that I have now gotten back
Yeah.
for the price of what I'm paying per demand. I mean, it was a no-brainer.
Yes. That's so interesting, because that really is very specific, how to write a demand letter that is absolutely.
And they come back. These things they're thick, they're detailed. I mean, they're phenomenal. They really are. They put in research on jury verdicts and settlements in the area where you live. I mean, on that particular type of case. I mean, they really do a phenomenal job.
That is real talent right there. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. And, I struggle in my practice, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, ordering medical records and following up and making sure we get them. Because if you don't have the medical records, you can't do a demand.
Exactly.
I have the company that has been doing it for me, coming in to talk to everybody about, how it goes. Because now all I have to do is just put in a treater's name, the dates that I want, and that's it. I already have the authorization signed. That's all I have to do. I don't have to do anything else. It's automatically sucked up into their system. They get the records, then they automatically put it into the folder in my system. We also have a roundtable. So, we're going to be able to talk about, the things that people have been doing over the last 2 years to try to improve their business, to get business, what worked, what failed, what brought in stuff.
Why did you start Atlas?
Well, it was simple. I had been going to marketing conferences for quite a few years when I decided to do this. And I noticed a theme in most of them. You would go and you'd pay a large sum of money. And when you were there, one of two things would happen. You would either get there and they would tell you, this case is too hard for you to handle, but you should go out and get them and refer them to us. Because you're not smart enough to handle those cases, but we are, and you send us all the work, and then we'll send you a referral fee. That's one of the kind of conferences that I had attended previously.
Yeah.
And, it irritated me because I thought I can handle those cases. Why do they think that they have the market cornered on this? And all of these people run around and they think, oh yeah, well, I have to send my work to them. So I got sick of paying those people to go to their conferences and tell me that I wasn't good enough to do the work. On the other hand, you had the conferences you would attend that, they would say, listen, we're not going to tell you everything, but if you join our mastermind group or, whatever, for an extra fee, then we'll tell you all the real secrets. And
otherwise you just get the teaser.
Otherwise, after that, I thought, no, I'm not interested whatsoever. And this doesn't seem to be too hard. I think I could put a conference on. So I started planning my first one, believe it or not, in 2004. Wow. And I was all set to get things off. And I was in a bad accident in February of 2005.
Oh no, that's that when you fell off something happened on the balcony and your back got injured?
Yeah, I was on a staircase that collapsed. And and I broke my neck and my back. So,
oh my God.
I kind of got sidetracked for several years, but finally got everything back together. And in February 2008, I had my first one. And I would do them sometimes twice a year, sometimes once a year, but always with the same thought that I want to bring people in who are going to tell you everything. Yeah. And who are going to give you something, maybe one or two or three of the people out of everyone that speaks may offer you information that, is going to work with your practice. But those are the people that if they are good for you, can be game changers, can change things, dramatically. And, that's why I decided to do Atlas. I just got sick of going to other people's, conferences and walking away, either dejected or frustrated.
Yeah.
And I have to honestly, the people that work for me here will tell you, every time I plan an Atlas conference, for the weeks preceding the conference, I walk around saying the same thing. I'll never do this again.
It's so much work. It's so much work, isn't it?
Well, I worry constantly that I want to, my big fear is I want it to be good. I want it to be interesting. I want people to get something out of it. I want the people who come and and our sponsors, to be able to get something out of it. I don't want somebody to give me money and come and be there and then, get, not wind up meeting anybody that they could work with. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
I've worked with some very cool people I've met from your conference. So I was going to ask you another question for my lawyer list is who or what practice areas are a good fit for your conference? I think everyone on my list will probably fit, but I just want to hear it from you.
Well, I I have plaintiffs lawyers. I have general practice lawyers. I have, believe it or not, insurance defense lawyers who come.
Wow.
I even have a guy who runs a carpet cleaning company who comes. I mean, what does carpet cleaning have to do with legal marketing and management?
I don't know.
Not a lot. However,
that's new.
There are certain things that, that cut across every type of business, because no matter what, we're in a profession, but it's also a business. And there are principles here that work for everyone. I mean, it's just not just for plaintiffs' personal injury lawyers. So,
are some of your favorite or your most favorite Atlas memory?
My favorite Atlas memory, Mary, is us getting lost in the basement of the United States Capitol.
Oh, I was there.
You were there.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite memory of Atlas. That was a very good time. I mean,
you know what it was like? It was like that movie Spinal Tap where they can't find the stage and everything looks the same down there.
Yeah, they were going, and I think that's probably one of my fondest memories. I mean, the W Hotel in down in Fort Lauderdale.
That was so nice.
Absolutely spectacular. I mean, and from a more sentimental standpoint, I think one of my favorite memories are any of the conferences my dad spoke at.
Yeah.
Because he spoke at a lot of them. He was the very first speaker I ever had. And he attended up until he was coming to the 2019 Myrtle Beach one. And the week before, he had all of his buddies who were octogenarians were all coming. So my father said, well, we all should get together one more time. So make sure they come. So they were all there. And the week before he started getting sick and he thought, well, I'm not feeling really well. I'm not going to come. And then he passed away shortly after that. So, those, I think it's probably the best memories I have of Atlas is, when my dad spoke, because he took it really seriously. And my father was a great speaker. He was a great storyteller. So
I loved your dad. I got to shoot him a few times.
He's a fun guy. And
he was really a kind and respectful. He didn't treat me like I was just the guy behind the camera. He was really.
No, well, Mary, he had so much experience being on television. I mean, he started in the 80s. So, he had been in many, many, studios and many different places around the country. So, he was very comfortable in front of the screen.
He was like a one-take wonder.
Well, my father had an eidetic memory. So it was hard to stump him on anything because he remembered everything.
Yeah. You gotta watch out if you're one of his kids.
As his child, I can assure you I lost every single argument.
Oh,
I learned not to tell him any stories because he would remember what I said, and if it wasn't true,
oh God, that would be.
I'm not a little guy, but if he got pissed, he wouldn't hit me. He'd have my mother do it. My mother was a college athlete. She was fast and she hurt.
She was fast. Fast little guy.
And I was looking and I looked all around for different places to have this conference. And
that was my next question. I'm so excited about the Flamingo.
And I looked around and I thought, I think that we all need some fun. And the most fun place in America, honestly, is Las Vegas, because you can do anything there. You can go to shows, comedy clubs, you can gamble, you can just walk around and look. There's beautiful pools. I mean, there's all kinds of things there to do while you're there.
And I am so personally excited about seeing the Flamingo in person because I've seen all those movies about Bugsy or whatever. And
It is the oldest casino in Las Vegas. You know, their prices were extraordinarily reasonable. And I thought, you know what? It's right in the middle of the strip. Caesars is across the street. The Bellagio is catty corner. If you go off to the right, you come down to the Venetian or the Wynn. You know, if you want to go somewhere else while you're there, you're in walking distance to most of the places you might want to go. So I just decided that I would like to do it there. And you know, and I think that Vegas is probably a great attraction for people. I mean, it's just, I don't know, for me, it just radiates life.
It's going to be so fun. Are you kidding? I can't wait. I'm super excited.
I don't like to gamble. I mean, I'm not a gambler.
Me neither. I never gamble. It's so boring to me.
I just want to go there to see people and have, you know, return somewhat to life. You know,
did you feel like your business slowed down a little at Munley Law during the pandemic or no?
No.
Did it get more or just?
Yeah, no, it grew. We did not cut back on, you know, our internet. You know, what was happening in the beginning of the pandemic was insurance companies said, hey, you know, we'll settle. And they were. And if you got rid of a whole bunch of cases, that's great. But what happens is, you know, you have a series that come behind them. Okay. That now move into the, let's get these ready to settle. And then, you know, then you have nothing behind that because
it's still quiet back there.
Again, right.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of lawyers who went months and months through the pandemic and didn't have any business. And, you know, I did not have through the worst parts of the pandemic, I did not have a single month where things were off. And, you know, that has a lot to do with my sister Bernadine, who you know very well. And, you know, she was on top of that the entire time she worked on that. So
she's a marketing genius.
Bernadine is very driven and, you know, stayed on top of it. I mean, and we continued, you know, we continued to advertise and to stay, you know, heavily invested in the internet at that time. And it benefited. I mean, you know, we kept our caseload, you know, not only where it was, but it had grown it. So
that's awesome. Because I do know some law firms that just flatlined for a while.
I have a lot of things that happened to, and it was terrible. You know, I felt awful for them because, you know, it's a there but for the grace of God go I situation. I mean, fortunately, I think most people have come through the pandemic and now are in a much better state. I mean, you know, I don't know how it managed to happen, but it happened at the right time for us because we had the ability to have everybody go home and work remotely. And we didn't take a hit for that because, you know, we were already set up. I mean, we just had to make sure that people had the equipment at their house.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we were set up in that respect. And then, you know, with electronic signatures, we were able to do all our signups and everything, you know, over the phone and through your cell phone. So, you know,
amazing now.
It actually changed how we sign up new clients.
I was going to ask you that. Are people still working remotely? And are you still signing people remotely, or did that stick?
Signing people remotely. I don't have people working remotely because, you know, I think most people here didn't want to be anymore.
They're like, my dog is bothering me, or my kids, or whatever. They needed to be at work.
I mean, when that happened to me, I was home. I had my 2 kids, my 2 dogs, and my mother-in-law, and you know, all of whom I loved dearly. But that much time without a break just was too much for me. So it
would be hard practicing law at home with everybody. I could see you in a closet somewhere hiding out.
It finally got to the point, even though we were still under lockdown here in Pennsylvania, I just decided, screw it. And I hopped in the car and I would drive down to my office every day. There was nobody here.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like I was, in fact, I could be in contact with everybody because nobody was here. So I came down and, you know, it was lonely,
No, you still have you had even more cases. So you had to stay focused. Yeah.
You can't get a hold of anybody. You have to work with people. It's all remotely. You have these phone conversations. I mean, it's all disembodied voices.
Oh,
It was awful. So, this is why I want to go to Vegas. I want to go out and I want to see the sun. I want to see,
yeah.
bright, shiny lights, and I want to see people, and I want to see just life being lived as it should be.
I can't wait to see you guys. I think this has been one of the most wonderful interviews. I can't think of anything else I might want to ask you. Is there anything else you would want to share?
Sure. A couple of things.
Okay.
One of the thing is, listen, Mary, I appreciate you sending this out to, to so many people that that are important to you. And, the conference, as I said, is not designed to be a moneymaker. It's just designed to pay for itself, and we have a good time. And I have a lot of vendors, and I'm happy about that, but I'd like more different people. And so this is what I'd like to do. And it's kind of violating my own rule, but I'm going to do it here.
Okay.
Is I'm going to give you a link, Mary, and you can put it on this for people who want to come. If they decide they want to come, the conference is $1,200. But what I'll be very happy to do is for people who are friends of yours, Mary, who are in your system, I'll be very happy to give them a special price of $650 to come to the conference. And
oh my God, that's awesome.
I will give their own sign up, and it'll be, the link that I will provide to you will be their own sign up. If they click on the link that'll be on this video, it will take them to a special landing page on the Atlas website, so that they can sign up at that reduced rate. It's not anybody else who wants to go and sign up for the conference. It's $1,200. So, if you went normally in, that's what you would have to pay. But by clicking on this link, you will get nearly a 50% discount. And that's really, Mary, you're kind enough to do this. You invited me to come on so you could do this for me. And I wanted to return the favor because, these are people that you work with, and I want to offer them something also for your kindness.
Thank you so much, Chris. That is going to be awesome. I will totally include the link wherever we can around this video, below, above, or behind.
Probably. Yeah. I'm going to have Wendy. I'll have Wendy set it up, and she can send it to you. Then I'll email it to you.
Anyway, I just love you guys, and I'll let you go back to work now. But thank you so much for having me today.
Listen, without you, you're doing me a big favor here. So I'm grateful to you.
I just know that the lawyers who open my emails are going to love you. And I hope that all of you guys will come to the conference and join us in person, get out of the bunker.
Absolutely. Come back. Let's get back to life.
Let's get back to life and get out of the bunker. I mean, I'm in my closet right here. Okay. So
I'm in my office, but are you going to bring your guitar, Mary, and play for us?
Either the guitar or the dog or both. I'm not sure.
Well, they're both welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. All right. You have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you. What's the dates again? May
4th, 5th, and 6th.
4th, 5th, and 6th. I'll see you then.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching this long form interview today. If you want to be interviewed for some reason, you've got something you want to share with my list of lawyers, I'd love to hear from you. Just email me anytime, Mary@GoMediaMarketing.com. Thanks so much.